Hey, it's Kobe here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden Tips video breakdown, I want to show you a play that's pretty flexible as far as attacking multiple coverages. So the name of the play is going to be out of the Gun Stack Y Flex. You'll find this one out of the Buccaneers playbook, and the name of the play is called Levels. Now, of course, this is a passing concept, very, very popular. Generally, with the Levels concept, it's usually mostly effective against zone coverage. However, out of the Gun Stack Y Flex, what makes it effective is the fact that it also has an unbumpable route, so it can attack bump and run man coverage and be as effective as well. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go through some various coverages and just kind of break it down and show you all the different pass routes that are being ran and who will be open based on what the coverage is determined. And so we'll get on to it and get on the field here in just a second. And I hope that this is something that, will help you guys out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the play diagram. I know you guys see it on your screen here, but let's get into the actual play screen there, play call screen as you see it. And as I said before, it's called Levels. You'll find it out of the Buccaneers playbook if you're following along. And of course, it's out of the Gun Stack Y Flex. So let's go ahead and do that. As far as with the defenses that we're going to do basically, I don't know, 3 or 4 different coverages we'll break down here and just kind of give you an idea of how this particular play will work. Let's go ahead and start off with the cover 2 man LB blitz. So you're looking at your screen right there. It's going to be that one right there. That's the one we're going to start off with. And we're going to go ahead and go into press coverage. So with this particular defensive coverage that we're looking at, let's go ahead and look at the defensive coverage, and then we'll get going on the play itself as far as what it will work against. So there's the cover 2 man, and you can see that as you look at it, you can see right here on your screen that these guys right here are in man coverage. So you got this guy in man coverage over there, or at least in bump and run, and you got these guys over here, this corner over here in bump and run man coverage. All right. Now, the cool thing is I've already mentioned that one of the cool things I like about this particular play and formation is the fact that you're going to get this stack right here with these 2 receivers. So this particular receiver will be the number 2 on the depth chart as far as on your offensive depth chart at the receiver position. So he'll be the number 2 receiver. And just keep that in mind as you're going through that. If you got to, if you want to flip flop your receivers and all that, you can. Like I said, I am not playing your team. I'm not big on doing subs. Hopefully you guys know your team better than I know it and who to put where and what. But just know that that is the number 2 receiver lined up there, stacked behind the number 1 receiver. All right, let's look at this as far as the play is concerned. And with this particular play, I'm not even going to make any hot route adjustments. I don't feel like you need to. The only one that if I did, the only one I would suggest maybe making is this guy right here, which is the running back. He's running a more or less a swing route anyways, but it's delayed out there towards the right. If you want a hot route, I'm on a swing route, that's fine. Just make sure he goes out. But for this particular video breakdown, I'm not even going to do that. So with that said, I want to go back and focus in on these 2 receivers again to your left, because this is really what the play is about as far as who's going to be open. For the most part, one of these 2 guys in most cases are going to be open, if not both of them. So as you're looking at it, what you're going to find as you look at it is that this receiver to the ends, who's lined up in the stack, he's lined up in the stack here, he comes up in this area here. So he takes an inside release, and then he breaks up the field, and then he goes over into this direction here, breaks towards the middle. And then the other receiver, which again is to go back and zoom in, is the receiver is lined up on the line of scrimmage. And what he basically runs, he just goes ahead and breaks to the outside. Initially takes an outside release, goes up the field a few yards, about 5 to 6 yards, maybe even 7 yards, and then he breaks to the inside. And so the levels concept in general, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video, what it's most commonly designed to do is to attack zone coverage, because what you'll get as you look at your screen here, you're going to get a high-low read. So with that said, you'll get this guy, as I mentioned earlier, he's going to run this route, the higher of the 2 routes, or the deeper of the 2 routes, and you're going to have this receiver running this route. So against zone coverage, generally you're looking to attack one of these defenders here. If this defender right here, as you look at your screen, if he drops back, then the quarterback would look to throw underneath to the receiver running the underneath route. If that defender stays up here and takes that away, then the quarterback would look to throw to the deeper route. So that's the way this works, and you will see this in the breakdown as we do this. You'll see that high-low read, but generally that is what this particular concept does, the levels concept. But because of the stack formation over there on the left that we've already talked about, you also can use this to beat bump and run man coverage, or even man coverage for that matter. So let's go ahead and run it. And as I want you guys to watch, is both those receivers that we've been talking about all this time here, both are going to be open at some point. So let's go ahead and run it. For the most part, they should be. So let's go ahead, and the first one we're going to look to throw to is going to look to throw to the deeper route. And you can see he gets wide open there as he breaks to the inside. Now, he may even get more open than he did on that particular play. Now, let's go back here and run it again. And keep in mind, like I said, this is against cover 2 man. Now, the other option would be to throw to the receiver running the underneath route. Now, he's going to have to come to the inside there, and hopefully he'll get a little bit more separation than that. Now, he didn't get as much as I would prefer him to, but he's going to be open. Maybe not as open as what you just saw on your screen. There, he's a little more open there. That's even a better example of that. So those two receivers against cover 2 man are two options that the quarterback can throw to go ahead and get open. Let's run it one more time. I'm going to go back to that receiver running that deeper route, and then we're going to do a little bit more in instant replay. Just take a look at this a little bit more, because I want to show you something else that you might consider doing, and this is up to you. I just talked about hot routes earlier, but it's something that you might consider doing if you do want to add another hot route to your arsenal. All right, let's go look at this real quick. I want you guys to look at this this receiver here, which is the tight end. This is Gronk here. And what he has here, he has an option route. And as you look at it, the option gives him to either go up the field, basically up the seam, or he has the option to break to the inside on a post. Since the coverage here is cover 2, so if you were doing your pre-snap reads and you saw that these two safeties look like they're playing too deep, then one thing you might be considering is maybe you want to go ahead and hot route him on a streak. And the reason I tell you that, and you're going to see here, is because if he breaks over to the middle towards the post, which is fine, the problem is he does bring his man into that area. So I do want to point that out to you. But again, that's up to you, because you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And you're still going to make the throw, and you're going to find that receiver going to the inside is going to be open once he breaks across the deep middle. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and focus in as you look at it. We're going to go ahead and zoom in again on our screen here. And let me clear that out just a little bit here and get over it in this area here. All right. So now you can see as you look at it, this receiver's clearly getting off the line of scrimmage without being jammed. There's the defender covering him. He's not getting bumped. So he's clearly getting off. So that's the nice thing about that. And then right now at this point, as you look at it, again, we'll go ahead and zoom in on this. As you look at it, you can see that this defender's trailing him, and he's got inside position. So he doesn't look like he's really going to be open. So what you're hoping for is once he does, break to the inside there, especially if he's a good route runner, then you're going to find that he should get open as he breaks across. Now, of course, it could all depend on what the cornerback and what kind of ratings he has, and also what the receiver has as far as being open or not. So just keep that in mind as you run that. And then if you look down here, too, you can see clearly as you look at it, we had this receiver as well open, the one running the underneath route. So we had both those guys open as far as receivers being open. And you can see as I make this throw that I'm throwing it. Now, when I make this throw into this area here, I'm probably going to go ahead and lead it a little bit to the right with the controller. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of just throw it hard right into the 3 o'clock position, just in case you guys are wondering what I'm doing as I'm making that throw. So there's that play right there as far as attacking. Bump and run, man coverage works the same thing against man coverage as well. It also doesn't matter if it's cover 0, cover 2 man, or cover 1. Those are your reads as far as who you should look to throw to. In my opinion, are the receivers I would look to throw to based on that coverage. So I just want to point that out to you as far as the receivers. So anytime you run the gun stack Y flex levels, consider doing what I'm just showing there. All right, so what we're going to do here now is we're going to go into a whole nother defense here as far as the coverage is. And for this one, we're actually going to go ahead and attack cover 2 zone coverage. And I want to show you the same kind of results that you're going to get here with this particular one as we go through this play. And I think that you guys will see that, it's just as effective as doing that. And we'll go ahead and run it against, I think we're going to go ahead and run this against the cover 2 drop. Let's go ahead and look at our screen here as we're looking at it. You can see right there we're going to run against cover 2 drop. So let's go ahead and run against that coverage. And with cover 2 drop, what I want you guys to watch here is the deep receiver running that deep route on the levels concept. So the receiver that we're going to look to throw to, as you're looking at, it's going to be this one here again. As he breaks across the deep middle, we should find him somewhere in this area here with our quarterback once he drops back. So as he's dropping and he's scanning down that field and he's seeing that those safeties are splitting out wide, we should find this guy open somewhere in there, the one I just pointed out, in that area there. Also, the other thing I want you guys to watch now, earlier I mentioned something about hot route and a tight end on that streak route if you wanted to. Now, that's where I was saying if you want to, because with the option route that he has, when he goes up the field here, when he gets ready to go up the field, I want you guys to watch as he does this. So as he goes up, because it's cover 2, he is, even though it's cover 2 zone, he's still going to break over the cross the deep middle. I want you guys to watch this, and we'll talk about that as we run the play. So let's go ahead and run it, and we're going to show you what's going to happen here. Now, I hope you guys are watching deep down the field, and a lot of times, I read a book, I forget what it's called, but it's like, don't take your eyes off the ball is what it's called, and I can't remember who wrote this book, but it's a Matt Shimner. I'd have to look it up. Maybe I'll figure out who it is and leave it in a link at the bottom of the breakdown. But anyways, one of the things in the book what he talks about is don't always watch the football. Watch other stuff when you're watching the game. Watch all the other stuff that's going around. Don't always watch where the football goes. In this particular play, as you watched, you would have saw the tight end as I pointed him out earlier. He did something that helped get that deeper receiver open. That's what I want to go through on this particular instant replay. I want to show you what happens when he goes and uses that option route. So let's go ahead and go through it, and then we'll just kind of walk you through. Okay, where's where I want to stop, right there. This is a really, really good example of what's happening here. What I'm going to do is a little bit of zooming in on here, and then we can kind of get a really good, better understanding of what's going on. So as I talked about earlier, this guy is running this post route. He's going into this area here. You're tied in. He's going in this area here. Now watch what happens with this defender here as you watch. This one right here, let me just go back out of here and go back and zoom in again. This one right here, you'll notice that he drops back and takes away the tight end, which is fine. Because with him dropping back, then it leaves us a beautiful window, or a nice window, where our quarterback can now make this throw. He can see he's clearly open because that guy's dropping back. That leaves a perfect window area here where we can make that throw with our quarterback and complete it over the deep middle in that area there. So that's nice. And the other thing too is this route that's being ran underneath, he can hold some defenders underneath as well so they don't drop back. So that's where that high-low read kind of comes into play. And I just want to show that to you as you go through that. So that's definitely a nice play to run against cover 2. Now, I will say this. Even underneath the defender is going to underneath receiver is going to probably be open at some point as well. Maybe not as open, but he's someone you could throw to if you wanted to. So keep that in mind against cover 2 zone coverage. If you see a defender dropping back and taking away that tight end like Tampa 2 or something, that's probably what you're going to find is that deeper receiver open. If not, look for the receiver that's running underneath. He'll probably be open as well, depending on if those linebackers drop too far back or they, depends on what they do. So just keep an eye on them as you run it. It's a high-low read. All right, I want to go into one more particular defense with this breakdown. I know this is getting pretty darn long. We're probably up to 14 minutes at this point. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to go ahead and attack some cover 4 coverage and kind of just walk you through that. So I want to go ahead and show that to you. So we're going to get back on the field here in just a second. And like I said, it's just something I want to show here because I kind of want to, one of the things I just saw recently, you guys want to show attacking man coverage. Someone's mentioned attacking more bump and run man coverage or man coverage, which is fine. But on the same token, I also want to show you guys, like for this particular play, it's a zone and man beater built in. It's got it right there for you where you can attack both bump and run and man beater. So let's go into cover 4. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the defense right now. This one we're going to go ahead and run it against the cover 4 drop contain out of the $326 from the Panthers playbook. Again, we're going to use the levels play out of the gun stack Y flex. So let's go ahead and look at it. Here's the same play that we're running, as you can see on your screen, offensive play, and there's what the defense looks like. All right, with this particular one, you're going to probably find that the underneath route's going to probably be the most open. This receiver here earlier, the one we talked in the levels concept, he's going to be right there, the Y receiver. He's going to probably be open. And then the other receiver we really haven't mentioned all that much is going to be this receiver out here on the right as you look at your screen. He's going to run that deep out route. He's going to go up the field probably 10 to 12 yards, and he's going to break to the outside. So against cover 4, look for him as well. You might find him open. Don't forget the halfback's also an option as well against this particular coverage. Let's go ahead and run it. We'll go through all the routes here to show you who can be open, who won't be. There's the high-low read. That's a really good example of it as you watch. Let's go into instant replay just really quick. And if you look at it, you'll see the high-low here. This is a really good example of the levels concept at work. This particular defender, I'm going to go ahead and kind of just show them to you. This one right here is the one that we want to focus in on. It's this linebacker. He's supposed to be playing a hook zone or some kind of hook zone in this area here. Watch what he does as we run this play, and then you can see how he goes back. See, there's the high-low read right there. So with this one, as we go ahead and zoom in on it, he's dropping back. He's going to take away that deep end route that's being ran by the receiver there who's running the deep end route. So for him dropping back, then it tells me as the quarterback that my other option is going to be this guy right here as he comes across on his route. He's going to be open here where I can make that throw. So that's what you're seeing here on the screen. There's your high-low right there. That's a really good example of the high-low and how well the levels concept works against zone coverage, because the deeper one's taken away, then you look to the lower receiver, which in that case is going to be that one right there. All right, now I want to go back to the other side. I want to work my way to the right. For me, most of the time, I'm going to be looking to the left when I run this play, but you know what? The right's open too if you can catch it in the right coverage. So here we go. We're going to run this one, and we're going to the outside receiver there. So he runs that deep route, actually about 15 yards, and he's open, as you can see right there. When you make that throw, make sure you throw it hard right, and a lot of times I try to time it just right when I think he's going to break, and then that's when I usually make that throw. Let's go ahead and run it from here on this outside, and you can see right there, I'm throwing it almost right when I'm anticipating him right when he's going to break. You can see right there as you look at it that he's going to break, and then I'm going to make the throw. And if you look over here to your right over here, you'll see that the halfback's wide open right over there where we can make that throw too. So just keep that in mind as you run it. And then the other option, if you want to continue with the high-low, as I talked about earlier, we just mentioned this, when we were doing earlier of the play, as far as against cover 4, you got that guy right there. So you really got 3 options you can make the throw to on this particular play if they run cover 4. All right, so that's some good examples of some different coverages. We talked about attacking cover 2 man. We talked about attacking cover 2 zone, and we also talked about attacking cover 4. If you guys want, I guess I'll go ahead and do it since I'm already here. Let's go in and look at cover 3. I didn't plan on doing cover 3, but let's go ahead and do cover 3. So with that, let's go ahead and look at a cover 3 defense real quick. And I think we'll just get into it here. We're going to do a cover 3 match, I believe, is what I want to go ahead and do here. So let's do a cover 3 match. And as you guys know, cover 3 match, it's it's a good defense. A lot of players like to run it. So let's run the levels concept again, or levels play from the gun stack Y flex. And let's run one more here. And go into the cover 3 so you guys can see it here. I'll show it to you on your screen again. And keep in mind, this is going to be out of the $326, as I've already mentioned. So here it is right there as you're looking at your screen. You can see it. Keep in mind, I'm doing this, I'm doing this all live as far as with me actually doing it. And then obviously it's not live as you guys are watching it. But, I'm not splicing plays or things together. I'm just doing this as I go. So I'm just talking as I go and as I see it. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one here. Cover 3 match. Against cover 3 match, for the most part, you're going to probably look for the deep receiver on the in route. The underneath route will be open as well. The tight end, don't forget he runs that option route. But this is what I want to go through here. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and look for that deep receiver. Now, if you're going to throw it, actually I threw it to the under one. But if you're going to throw it to the deeper receiver, make sure you throw it high. Press up on the stick, because that's the only way you're going to get that in there if you're going to try to make it. Let's go ahead and make this throw here. I just want to show it to you. Got hit right as I was making that throw. And keep in mind, this is against cover 3. Let me show you the coverage there so you can see. There's the cover 3 match. I'm going to run it one more time here. And you just got to make sure if you're going to make this throw, you got to throw it high and get it over the top of the linebackers. So he will be open as an option to throw to. Just keep that in mind against cover 3. He's certainly someone you can look to throw to. Let's go one last look here, just for the for the grins of it. And right there, the underneath route is open as well. So again, against cover 3, you might have both. So the high-low, you can look at either one of the receivers and find somebody open to attack that type of coverage. So again, I just wanted to break this down to you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video breakdown. The name of it, as you look at your, if you're going through your plays, you're looking for this one, it's called Gun Stack Y Flex. And the name of the play is called Levels. The levels passing concept in this particular formation is a bump and run man beater, and it's also a zone beater. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.